All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, we're so happy today. We're going to go to the EV battery space. We're going to talk about manganese, which is a metal used in EV batteries, and specifically Canadian manganese. We're happy to have Matthew Allis, President and CEO of the company, on the show for the first time. Recent listing on the NEO Exchange here in Toronto. Ticker at the bottom there, guys, if you're looking for it. Great to have you, Matthew. Welcome. First off, give us an overview here. What do we need to know, first off, about this metal specifically, and tell us a bit about the company as well.
Well, thanks for having me on. Yeah, the metal manganese, it's a bit of an opaque market. It's not one of the sexier EV metals, but one that's, it has been in the lithium ion and NMC battery kind of technology for many, many years through portable electronics. And it is dominated right now. The production of this is dominated in China and in Asia. And the growth, we're seeing exponential growth with the uptake and integration and adoption of NMC cathode technology in electric vehicles, with all the large OEMs rolling out new fleets of electric vehicles. These are becoming the dominant cathode chemistry in these batteries. So that is, forecasting the growth to be, of the lithium-ion batteries to represent 60 to 70% of this as we exit this decade and growing.
So a few interesting points here I want to dig into. The first one, we should say, first off, the Woodstock project, which is the company's current project in New Brunswick. The company really aiming to become an ESG leader when it comes to the mining of this metal. Explain, I guess, a little bit about the process involved here when it comes to extracting this metal for the viewers.
Well, yeah. So, I think that there's kind of the two pieces: the extraction of the resource and then the processing of the resource. Right now, what happens? There's two main components that impact the environmental impacts, and one is the type of ore used, and then secondly is the processing techniques and that are employed. So the type of ore, that traditionally a lot of geologic oxide ores have been used, which requires mass amounts of energy for the calcination, which is the reduction through heat, so burning process. And this is what's employed right now in China on a big scale to create an intermediary product called EMM, electrolytic manganese metal, and that is highly inefficient from an environmental and energy standpoint. And with certain ores, like we have at Canadian Manganese, a carbonate hosted with very little impurities, these can be improved significantly. So, so not only is supply today can be improved, but going forward as to fill the demand gaps that are coming, we believe that there are, easily identifiable fundamental improvements to be made. And on top of that, we're kind of starting from the beginning and have the ability to look at the whole extraction process and how we look at, the energy consumption, the fleets that are used, and the energy and costs associated with taking this resource out of the ground in a more efficient way.
You mentioned, to start things off, the domination currently when it comes to this market by China. Talk a little bit about where you see this marketplace going in the near future. This is obviously an ever-growing and the demand for this is just skyrocketing currently with the amount of both vehicles being produced, and I mean, everybody's walking around with a battery in their pocket and a phone right now. So where do we see this market going, and maybe a little bit specifically on how much is the U.S. going to play a part of this?
Well, and that's what our biggest opportunity we have identified here is, the U.S. and the Biden administration has made it clear with their executive orders and supply chain focus to develop a domestic lithium-ion battery supply chain. So, to fully realize that goal, the U.S. and North America will need to have secure supply of the critical minerals. So whether that's nickel, manganese, cobalt for NMC cathodes, lithium. So we believe right now in the forecasts for demand and pricing in this market, people look and the forecasters look at what's being produced today and assume that it's going to continue. So the dominance of cathode development will continue in Asia. some growth in Europe. But there is no real forecast for a U.S. participation in that, and we believe that that's going to be very meaningful going forward. And I think that we can play a value role in being a supplier for decades to that supply chain here in North America.
It's a great story and a great time to be in this space. Guys, check them out, CDMN. As we said, recent listing on the NEO Exchange here in Toronto. Matthew Allis, President and CEO of the company. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much for having me on.
That is Canadian Manganese, guys.